it's just beautiful. It's a loving thing. How can they not win when they have the power of friendship on their side?
I know. Like, you just can't not root for them.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a double negative. You're not supposed to do those.
You cannot root for them.
Yeah.
No, wait. All right, so yeah, coming into this game, we do have some interesting team comps. MKS, they are going to be running kind of a tanky comp. They have Ryze, Jax. That's always kind of a common matchup, but they got the Alistar pick, so presumably Alistar not banned since he's being played. And
you are a smart guy.
I really catch on quick.
Yeah.
And Ezreal and Taric in the bottom lane, while extra long friends, they will be running Lee Sin, Sona, and Corki in the bottom lane, Aurelia top, and Anivia mid. So, some interesting things here. I think, some nice counterplay. The Anivia, I'm assuming the Anivia was kind of a little bit later on to work against some of these melees and Ryze in particular.
Yeah, I really, really like Anivia. She always makes for really interesting play because of how much she controls the space. So, but MKS, man, just going to try to steal these wraiths here and doing a little early counter jungle and just trying to control some of the jungle creeps there. So just hanging out, and we're going to see if they can catch anyone off guard.
Yeah, so they are going to steal this pretty easily. No defense from extra long friends, so they're just going to allow their red buff to go down. Not very friendly for Lee Sin, but he'll be fine. The big thing is it does hurt some of his early ganking potential, but Alistar definitely has that. Will he hit 2? Yes, he should hit 2. Yeah, there he goes. So he could get off a quick gank in one of these lanes. They're going to have to watch out for that. But I don't know. We'll see. Most of the lane matchups are pretty even, but out of any of the lanes, mid lane, there's probably going to be a lot of pressure there. And then also top lane with Aurelia and Jax, both of them have that follow-up kill potential for ganks. Yeah,
Lee Sin also doing some counter jungling to himself, but he's going to get caught out here if he's not careful. Alistar is just such a beast early on with the amazing CC that he can do. He can just be really aggressive, just dive in, pulverize, and prevent you from going where you want to go. So I really like Alistar as a jungle. We don't see him a whole lot because he gets banned so often. Yeah, exactly. Because he's so good. And a lot of Mortis comes to mind when I think of Alistar and how good his play is. So, and it's always really exciting to watch Alistar. So hopefully people stop banning him so I could actually be more invested in the game.
Yeah, no, we've been playing with Buddy in the office, who's producer for LOL Update and everything. And he likes playing Alistar, but he is just now catching on to the fact that Alistar is always going to be
likes or he only plays Alistar?
He only plays Alistar.
He only plays Alistar. So, but yeah, always banned, but fun when we see him. He can be really aggressive and has really good level 2 ganks too. So, see some cool stuff out of him. But tell me more about this Jax Aurelia matchup in the top lane.
You know what?
I want to know more.
In my mind, because I was just about to get back to Jax and Aurelia.
Nice.
It's one of the more common matchups that we'll see. Aurelia is one of the strongest top laners in the game. She can lane against anyone fairly easily. Jax, as the lane progresses, his 1v1 damage output is going to be very strong. But Aurelia has disables and has regen and whatnot to kind of burst you down and then back off. So she's going to exchange very well and have a big advantage over Jax early on. But then there's also a lot of follow-up pressure for ganks. And so, for example, right here, if Lee Sin decides to come in, Aurelia can really open up some nice opportunities for kills. It's kind of tough to gank Jax underneath the turret, be kind of dangerous for them, but Aurelia definitely has that killing potential. Right now, I think for the most part, though, Tickmix, he's just checking out. I feel like I have a lisp when I'm saying his name.
Yeah, that was fun.
He's just kind of checking out, making sure that because Aurelia is playing so aggressively right now and trying to deny farm from Jax, that Alistar isn't coming up for a gank. And because they haven't seen Alistar for a while, I think they're kind of expecting it.
Yep, and there it is, too. So we'll see how that plays out. Oh, meanwhile, Aurelia is taking a lot of damage, and here comes Alistar with that pulverize, too. And Aurelia is just taken out, and so she, with the Ignite, she's going to go down pretty quick there. And Lee Sin's going to need to be pretty careful, even though they're both really low, but okay, they're just going to back off. So really good ganks, and that's the power of Alistar there. It can really displace you and put you in a position where you're going to be way, way out of position, basically, and just get beat down pretty quick. And Jax, of course, just does a lot of damage. Like, even early on, of course he scales hard in the late game, but he's still going to do some damage early, and so Alistar, it's a good combo.
If he gets any sort of snowball versus Aurelia, that lane is absolutely over. And the big thing there is Lee Sin, I'm gonna stop saying that. I swear to God. Lee Sin is very strong at coming in for those counter ganks because of the attack speed slow. He can, you know, really shut down a lot of your damage, but then he also has the shield as well. So usually it's going to work out in your favor. However, because Alistar and Jax have so much burst damage and then the stun from Jax as well, it doesn't even matter that they're slowed at all or the shield. They just bursted Aurelia down almost instantly. So, you know, a lot of pressure. That's kind of the thing. Alistar, if he gets on top of you in the ganks, you're basically dead. He's just such a beast. He can just, you know, wreck anyone.
Yeah, he's really, really good. I really like Alistar, and you're actually saying that Jax, you know, if he gets that early advantage, he's going to snowball really hard. I think you can say the same thing about Aurelia and a lot of top lane champions. It's like you get a kill or 2 kills ahead, maybe 2 levels ahead from, you know, forcing them back, and literally you can just push them out of lane for the rest of the game. And so you have to be so careful in that top lane because, you know, 1 or 2 slip-ups is all it's going to take for you to be basically completely out of the game. Well, at least until the late game where you can try to farm up. But
Alistar coming down into the bottom lane. He's going to get the headbutt onto Sona. Corki getting out of there. Sona not quite so lucky. Throws off the flash. A couple more auto attacks actually almost getting out of there, but they do pick up the kill in the end. The exhaust going on to Corki, but Lee Sin coming in. Can't quite turn it around, trying to get the Q onto Alistar. And going back to what you were saying, yeah, that is kind of the big difficulty with top lane. It has been for a long time. We're seeing people play a lot more defensive top lanes. Yorick, you know, he's just been so strong because he can be safe against almost anyone. You can just, you know, control the lane and just ignore them for the most part. Vladimir as well, you know, is kind of one of those champions. But those champions that are very safe lanes, the lane tends to snowball against them harder than other champions. Like Yorick, if he's playing against a bruiser like Jax or Aurelia, once he falls behind, if he falls behind, then it's over. Like it's difficult to fall behind as Yorick. Like his design kit is just, he's very safe. But if you fall behind, it's over. You're going to die repeatedly. And that's kind of something that Riot has said that they're going to try and work on. It's like a main thing coming into Season 3. Yeah,
they want to look at the what makes it so the top lane snowball so hard. But meanwhile, Alistar come in, force that flash from Anivia, so Anivia gets out of there. But yeah, like you're saying, Riot is looking into like how they can make it so the top lane isn't so, I guess, snowball-y?
Yeah.
Volatile? I don't know. And make it so...
Bursty?
Bursty, I think is the word I've used before, which isn't a word, actually. So, but yeah, so I'm excited to see how that works. Hopefully it doesn't make it kind of stale, like we see in some of the matchups. You know, of course, I'm not a fan of York because of... He seems kind of like a little bit stale play. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they change the top lane around.
And it's kind of an issue with the game as a whole, but top lane in particular, it's exacerbated because top lane, you're on an island for the most part. Most of the play focuses down towards the bottom lane, so you're not going to get a lot of help if you know, you fall behind. It's a very long lane as well as opposed to the mid lane, so there's not a lot of options for you. You're just kind of screwed. But that's kind of like an issue with the whole game. That's why for a long time we've seen a lot of defensive play from people where they're like, okay, I'm just going to sit back and farm, and then we'll have team fights in the mid game, and that'll decide the game. I don't want to lose the game in the first 5 minutes. You know, that's never a fun thing. But we're starting to see more and more aggressive play. But the result is that games are snowballing pretty quickly because there's not a lot of compelling comeback mechanics if you fall behind significantly. I think the statistic is still like 90% of the time, if a team is ahead at, by 2,000 gold or something like that at 10 minutes, then they've already lost the game. Or I'm sorry, they've won the game already.
Yeah, like you said, there's no comeback mechanic. So, and I mean, who's the one who came up with the snowball meta where you play really aggressive at like level 1, 2, 3, and then you play like a infant for the rest of the game, just sitting back and just not doing anything. I think Chaos came up with that. But yeah, so I mean, we're starting to see that, but more in the pushing and like the tower play, trying to get that early advantage. But top lane, Jax is kind of pushing around Aurelia because it has a little bit of a lead, and Ezreal's getting chunked down there, just a little bit out of position. And yeah, Sona does a lot of damage. Sona does a lot of damage. So, and she can play defensive and just kind of sit back and let you regen and let you farm, or she can be really, really aggressive with the slow and with that damage and the ultimate too. So I like those supports that can have that dual kind of role, like Alistar as well. Mostly aggressive for Alistar, but can kind of sit back too.
A lot of versatility. And
yeah, exactly.
The big thing is you have that movement speed, the stun from Terragon to Corgi, but there's the Sona ultimate, the Ezreal ultimate as well, and actually Kit does go down. They're turning it around despite the gank from Lee Sin, and Alistar's coming in from behind, the flash over the wall, the headbutt, pulverize into Sona. They pick up the kill over there, so Lee Sin finally grabbing Ezreal, but it still turns around against them. Ryze is here as well, getting the flash in, and now Tickmix is going to go down. Koakin able to grab that. They do have to watch out for Anivia.
Oh,
the double kill. No!
Oh, nice
Tarek
flash.
just barely getting out of there.
Oh, in the top lane, Jax is shoving around Aurelia like he does, and just going to put some pressure there. And just, I mean, it's so much about trading in that top lane, trying to get the damage and trying to force them to back so you can have that level lead and that farm lead too. So, and both those champions are good at that, but of course, Jax has had a little bit of help early on from Alistar. He was coming up and you know, help with that gank, and it's given that lead to Jax. So, oh, and Anivia just pushing around Ryze. Ryze has to be careful, and that's, you know, one of the issues with Ryze, because he has to get, you know, kind of close to be able to do damage, and Anivia has so much burst early on.
Yeah, and that's why Anivia has always been such a strong pick versus Ryze. Is not only does she have that pushing potential to throw him into the tower where he can't kind of counter push, but she also has that kill potential up in that that upfront zone. Lee Sin coming up into Jax. We'll get off the slow. The stun from Jax is going to go off though. He's very close to getting out of there, but the ignite, one more kick from Lee Sin will be enough to do it. The shield onto the ward just to make sure they finish it off, but Aurelia had it taken care of. So nice job there. That's going to be huge to try and get Aurelia back into this lane, because you saw Jax was actually able to zone her off previously, because he just has enough damage to just chase you down and take you from basically 100% to 0. And then having that regen with that Cutlass, he's able to just sustain off of the minions. And so, you know, he was pulling ahead in gold and experience. You know, 15 right now, so not that significant, but that could, you know, potentially exacerbate as time goes on.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was closer to 25 when Jax went down. So like she had a moment there to kind of catch up a little bit. But yeah, that's exactly what they need. Aurelia needed in top lane to be able to get back in this game. So yeah. Meanwhile, Alistar just kind of waiting. I think they're gonna make a big play here. Hopefully, or he can just sit tight.
Relaxing. He was tired. He needed a break.
He's gonna try to time out that red. Oh, meanwhile, Lee Sin coming around. This could be something. Something could happen here. Alistar just maybe feeling a little bit wary. Not sure if he wants to dive, but yeah, just taking the safe. Oh, nope.
Yeah, so just going to back off. They do spot him with the ward there, so he does back off. They don't really have the best dragon control. Neither team really does, though it's a little bit stronger for extra long friends, since they have the wriggles onto Lee Sin. Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see how, you know, that kind of progresses. It will be kind of a slow game as a result. It'll be mostly about lane pressure. The top, a lot of lane pressure. We might actually see. That's one of the nice things with Jax, is that you can split push for a significant period of time. And since as you get on in the lane, you start to just beat anyone in the 1v1 matchup. So we might start to see Jax start to aggressively push that top turret. But for the most part, everyone's kind of just sitting back for that mid game. Are they actually going for it? So never mind. They are going to go for this dragon. With their team, as long as their team is grouped, they're going to have a fine job with it. So Ezreal's there, and there's no ward coverage. So extra long friends not even trying to contest it. They haven't had the area warded for quite some time.
Yeah. I guess you can't say they snuck it in, but I'm sure that Extra Long Friends has some of an idea that they were doing.
They saw them leave the bottom.
Yeah,
they're kind of like, all right, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
they expected to lose it.
Ezreal's got 2 kills versus Corki 0, so I mean, Ezreal's kind of pushing around Corki a little bit in that bot lane. Meanwhile, in top, just kind of trading back and forth, doing what top lanes do. Just and Jax farming pretty well, actually. 109 to Aurelia's back in this game. She has 102 farms, so Aurelia is going to definitely be a threat, and Jax wasn't able to shut her down hard enough to keep her irrelevant in the mid game. And Lee Sin just kind of picking up the slack for Nivea while she's gone.
Yeah, the big concern for extra long friends, though, is going to be how strong Jax can be later in the game if they can get their whole team to engage. And if Alistar starts a fight, then they're going to have like this tanky front line. In the meantime, Sona getting caught out of position. The flash missing for Tarek, so Sona just barely able to get out of there. The Ezreal ult.
Oh, nice. I didn't think that was going to be enough damage. But
yeah, it was very close. I didn't think it was going to be enough either.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so really cool Ezreal. That was awesome. And Sona thinking real safe, but that's the problem with those global ultimates. They can... Oh, meanwhile, Alistar just headbutting Ivy under that tower, stunner, and she's taking a bunch of tower damage. And there's the egg and the death. coming for Anivia. So just a little bit out of position, and that's what Alistar.
Oh, almost picking up Rise, actually.
Gosh.
Wow.
That was pretty crazy. But yeah, Anivia was out of position, and Alistar is good at taking advantage of people that are out of position. Yeah. Hit her into the tower, and she just took a bunch of damage.
Not a lot of ward coverage so far from extra long friends, and Alistar has been taking advantage of that. That's, you know, a big strength of Alistar, particularly if you're going for mobility. You know, you can gank lanes very aggressively, but when you don't have a lot of ward coverage, it kind of exacerbates that issue. So, you know, we'll see how they do. Phenomenal play so far from MKS, but not quite a phenomenal defense from extra long friends.
What do you think of the boots and mobility on Alistar?
I mean, it's a long build. It's been a build for a long time. You know, it's.
Well, I mean, how do you like it compared to, you know, something else? I don't know.
I mean,
do you think it's important for him to have that gap closing like that, or do you think it's better to have more of the resists? Or
I mean, once he gets into the middle of your team, it's basically over. Aurelia does go down. I'll actually take a look back at that, because Jax just bullying her around underneath that tower. Once you kind of get along, you know, into the later team fights, yeah, usually something like Murtrace is going to be better, but once Alistar engages, it's basically it. Like, he's forced to fight. Oh god, nope, that was wrong. Replay. Oh god.
Oh my. All right, guys, just hang tight with us. That was awesome.
All right, so I'll get back to it. Once Alistar engages on your team, wow. So we have a game. Once Alistar engages onto your team, he's going to be able to, you know, just kind of, he's already got his AoE damage. Like, you're not getting away. He doesn't need a lot of magic resist because he has his ultimate. So he's going to be able to, you know, heal pretty effectively, or he's going to be able to sustain himself pretty effectively through that. He's going to be fairly tanky. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it allows you to force a fight. And Anivia, you can kite. Sona has the movement speed, you can kite. Yeah. But having that mobility, not only does it just make his ganks so powerful in lane, but later on in fights, you know, it'll allow him to force a hard initiation when he feels like it. So we'll be very strong from that regards. Lee Sin is coming in the mid lane, though, trying to get on Rise. He should be okay. But,
he's
you know,
dancing?
Dancing? Oh, no, I didn't notice.
Yeah, I think he was dancing a little bit, and I think he has that right, because he's just bursting down Lee Sin really hard. Lee Sin gets out of there. But yeah, I'm really impressed with Rise's farm over Anivia. I mean, especially, I mean, you were mentioning that Anivia counters Rise, or at least is a really good response to Rise. Yeah. And Anivia is like an amazing farmer. So being that far behind, surprising, and really good for Rise and really good for MKS.
Yeah, it's really impressive. Usually you don't fall significantly behind in farm, but it's always kind of a concern, that lane. A big thing is if you can deny the blue from Anivia, then you can slow her farm down a little bit. They haven't really been able to do that, but maybe coming forward, since Jax is in control of the top lane, now having the Gunblade, you know, which is going to be very nice for him, they can maybe start to deny some of those blues, put some more pressure on the top. The big thing with the Gunblade is Trinity Force, it gives you a little bit more damage and survivability in team fights, but Gunblade, it keeps you up to full, so it's more of a split pushing item than Trinity Force is. You're planning on just sitting up in that top lane for a long time and just beating whoever you're laning against.
Yeah, mid lane, bot lane, Lee Sin kind of hanging out, waiting for an opportunity. Meanwhile, Tarek has boots and mobility. Thoughts on that?
You know, I'm not the biggest fan of it from a
I don't think I've ever seen that, actually.
But it is fairly common, and again, it's a very similar you know, cause and effect. Lee Sin coming in, gets the shield on the Corki, trying to get back in there. In the meantime, Anivia getting caught out by Alistar. Jax is coming in as well. There is no egg for Anivia currently. It's almost up, but he's actually very close to getting this kill before it gets back up. Aurelia backing off on the side. Rise is coming off on the side too. The nice wall, extra long friends protecting each other always.
They're just the best of friends.
Yeah, it allows Tarek to force fights just like Alistar. It's going to allow him to run up and just get a stun off or something. You know, he could go for the Merc Treads, not really that big of a concern. Jax jumping onto Aurelia, but the rest of the team is here, and so the phage proc from Aurelia, but Jax gets the flash off, gets the dash, will be able to get out of there. Sona going down in the meantime. The burst in the bottom lane is just too strong.
Yeah, Ezreal just gets a little bit of a lead and can really, you know, chase you down and put a lot of pressure on you. Similar to how Corki works as well. You can just really dive onto him and just try to do as much damage as possible. And they can't do a lot because if they try to return the damage, Tarek is there to get in to stun and do a little damage of his own. So, Jax ridiculously low. Is he going to make it out? I don't... No, he's totally dead.
I don't know. He gets the dash.
No.
Oh, there it is. The auto type.
If he would have made it out, I would have just like put the headphones down and be like, okay, and good night, everybody.
The cast is over. The party's over. Yeah, they will be able to pick up this dragon though, so really nice. Just building on their gold lead, 8K gold lead now. With that dragon, so doing a really nice job controlling this game so far. Aurelia is getting something of a push on top, but the big thing is they're behind in all the lanes. Anivia can stall forever. Like Anivia is one of the best stallers in the game.
Yeah.
And so one of the issues that MKS would normally face is, they have a short-range team, and so a short-range team versus a champion like Anivia, they're never going to be able to push towers. They need to be able to force fights outside of towers, force objectives like Dragon, Baron, whatnot. However, because Ezreal is so strong and because Jax is so strong, they can split push both top and bottom and just have a very late laning phase, which is kind of what we've seen so far, having a 20-minute laning phase still. But Jax, he can just, push up the top, Ezreal can push up the bottom. As long as they have good ward coverage, there's not going to be a very good, effective response for extra long friends. So they're going to be, forced to just continue to fall behind on farm. Aurelia's done a really nice job keeping up, and so is Corki. But it is at the point where MKS could start to deny some of that farm in those lanes.
Yeah, and extra long friends not doing a great job warding Omi, while Tarek sneaking around the back and just getting blown up. Poor Nivea. You are dead, and Rise just, getting to a point where he's going to be doing a lot of damage. And he, of course, I mean, you say this a lot too. Rise is just a late game beast.
Yeah, no, he's a monster.
He suffers in the early game, but when he gets to the late game, he can just do tons of damage, like he's doing right now on Lee Sin. Lee Sin needs to get out of there. He's going to take a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Tarek goes down pretty quick, and Alistar dives in, gets that pulverize. Oh, and Tarek goes down.
Oh, but Ezreal, Sona's very low. Sona throws off the ultimate, but Ezreal does pick it up. The flash in from Rise. Jax coming over the wall, the leap strike onto the ward, and Corki is the last man standing, but there's the Gunblade slowing him down. They pick up the ace, and MKS is just in a really strong position right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely abusing, the ELF squad. Jax hanging out in the base. He wants to get this kill. He's going to dive onto Anivia, going to back off for a second, but she's going to have to watch out. He can always just leap over the wall, so he's just kind of toying with him for a second.
Gosh.
He might actually get this with the stun. He doesn't throw off the ignite, but Anivia is starting to get pretty low. Actually is, doing some work here as well, being able to kite him pretty effectively. But he'll drop a ward. He'll get out of there. So nice little retreat.
Yeah, he's just trying to play hockey. He's just trying to. He's not hanging out. He's just playing. Oh, and meanwhile, Ezreal going to dive in and try to do a lot of burst damage on Anivia. Oh, and maybe overestimated his abilities to kill Anivia there. But he got out, he's dead, and Anivia made it safely.
I was about to say, you could say he's a little overzealous, and then I realized in my head that it's not a pun, and I was like, I'm not sure what I was thinking with that, but yeah, no.
Maybe with the zeal, and there's a trinity, and
yeah,
there's something
that
there.
Was it.
It's done.
Yeah, but it wasn't good, and I realized it the second I thought of it. But Lee Sin, he does have an Oracles. He can clear out some of these wards, and they're just so far ahead at this point in time that even with the stalling potential that Nivea has and the kiting that Nivea and Sona have together, they can just dive at them. And having those boots of mobility will allow them to counter out some of that kiting potential and just run straight at them and bulldoze them, basically. So we'll see what MKS will continue to do to pressure this game. In the meantime, if ELFS, if they can pick people off, which they have that single target pickoff potential with the Nivea and with Aurelia, and then the damage that Corki has, they could, maybe win some of these fights if they can control it effectively. It's going to be very difficult for them.
Yeah, MKS has that deadly combination of a lead and a really strong late game team. So it's going to be pretty hard for extra long friends to be able to do a lot. I mean, Jax and Rise are getting to points where they're just super strong, and Ezreal just really beast right now. They got that tower, and they're going to try to get out. Oh, meanwhile, Nivea's diving in. Oh, man, and Ezreal going down pretty quick as Lee Sin dives to the back, gets that ultimate off, and Nivea is going down quick too. Yeah,
and Aurelia right in the middle of the team. The Sona ultimate, Lee Sin is going to go down, and Corki's okay in the back line here, but unfortunately Aurelia is not, though she does grab Rise. This is actually a really nice fight for them. Aurelia will be chased down the river, but they pick off Tarek, and Alistar is here as well. So Jax is looking pretty good, but actually the stun from Aurelia, I can't...
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I was just like, it was an afterthought. Like, I'm just, okay, let me watch the rest of this action, because I'm actually going to go back for a second, and then we'll continue watching as Aurelia, ran up here, and Jax just couldn't take her down, and then the wall off from Nivea
that was pretty
protecting
awesome.
her. So really nice job there. Jax still out in the open, but I'm not sure.
Oh, he's out for blood.
Is he gonna leap over the wall? Oh, I think he wants it. No, he's just kind of hanging out.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I was like, does he have
You
any
saw-
wards left? I was thinking he might bleed, but in the meantime, he is kind of stuck in their base, just kind of chilling. Can jump back over. I'm not really sure what's running through his head right now.
Stall, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
guess.
Oh well,
he
he's
gets off the stun.
wait. He's
Nope.
got some. Okay.
No.
I had a dream that he was gonna make it happen, but it didn't work. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, poor Jax, man. He just wanted that Aurelia kill so bad, and he was willing to sacrifice his life for it. But I mean, they're so far ahead. I think he was toying with him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So he's getting. He's having a good time. And
even so, that was a really nice fight for him. And the big thing
Yeah.
is they were able to protect their backline. Aurelia is now strong enough that they're not able to burst her down very effectively, and she is going for that GA as well. So Aurelia diving into the middle of the team, they all kind of clumped up around her. You know, really nice work. Frozen Barbecue just absolutely wrecking that fight, but it allowed Corky and it allowed Anivia to take control of that backline.
Frozen Barbecue. That's a pretty cool name. I didn't even notice it until just now.
It is
but
a solid name.
Anyway, it's pretty good. They have the cool team name and the cool username, so big fan of Extra Long Friends and good acronym as well. So, but they're gonna try to just surround on this blue, but I don't know. MKS has a lot of damage, and they're well informed on what's going on here, so it might not be the best. Jax, Alistar, they're coming in. It's gonna. Well, they took the blue, but they're going to have to be really careful here. Elves is in a bad position. Lee Sin dives on the Rise. He's way out of position. What is he doing?
Yeah, so they're not quite able to follow up, but Lee Sin jumping into the middle of the team, that's kind of a little bit surprising. He will go down pretty quickly. He's able to pull their attention, though. Aurelia diving in is able to grab that Tarek kill, and Corky and Anivia are safe in the back line, but Aurelia does go down. Jax getting to work onto Corky, but they turn it around. The Sona ultimate does protect them, and the big thing is they've been able to kite the damage from MKS for a significant period of time. Anivia is able to back off on the side. Lampasa almost picking up the headbutt pulverized combo there, but won't be able to grab it. So it is a 1-for-1 exchange, but it's Aurelia for the support, so not quite ideal, but even so, they're able to get out of there before further damage was done.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of bursting down Jax, and so he was a little bit hesitant to dive into the back. Nivia's going to need to be really careful here. We're just going to try to poke at him. It looks like this is going to be an inhib. I don't know if they can go face-to-face. Oh, nope, they're going to back out too. So.
Oh, but Corky chasing down Rise. He can just turn right back into him, but he is kind of caught off the shield from Lee Sin. They have the follow-up, but Jax is coming in as well. Gets off the stun. The headbutt pulverize, and MKS is actually doing a pretty nice job here, but Ezreal's all out of mana. The wall off. He just barely backs off, and 1-2 free. 1-2 free. A couple more attacks will go down.
Oh, my goodness.
Attack? No, it didn't go off. Oh,
Oh,
Sona.
nice.
Sona does pick it up.
Good job, Sona. You earned it. You earned your keep for today.
The big thing for ELFS in order to win these fights, though, is kiting out Rise. And the previous fight, that was the big thing. Not using that phrase again. That was something that they were able to do pretty successfully. They were able to, Rise actually did very little damage the previous fight because he was always kind of just running around. He's too short range to chase them down. The Anivia Flash Frost just barely picking him off. Lee Sin jumping in will be able to pick up Rise. No, the kick out and just barely grabbing it. The headbutt in from Alistar. And MKS, it seems like they're kind of throwing this right here because ELFS turning around gets another stun as Frozen Barbecue is in the front line. Tarek chasing down Corky with that exhaust, so they will have to back off. But still picking up a number of kills, and they still have a pretty significant lead right now. MKS does, but ELFS really coming back into this game.
Did you see in that fight that Rise was trying to get out, but accidentally right-clicked on the ward and auto-attacked it? Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, so he's really delayed himself from getting out of there. He was attacking the ward, so not exactly what you want to do. And it looks like MKS is going to get ready to do a little dragon here, and I mean, it's going to be theirs if Elves doesn't get there anytime soon, which it looks like based on the fact that they're all back at their base, that they're not going to be able to do anything for this.
Yeah, so they're going to be able to take that pretty easily, and we'll see how they continue. I'm a little bit surprised that they haven't been putting on more lane pressure. With the earlier lead that they had, they probably could have just kept multiple lanes push and then used that option to move back and forth as a team from like top to mid lane and then mid to bot and pick up those outer turrets. But they're still up. ELFS has been able to hold them off. So I don't know. We'll see if they can get some good ward coverage. Lee Sin, he has his oracles. Did Alistar? He I guess he never lost his, so he's still holding on to his. And don't know. We'll see. But as a team, they are very, very tanky. They have the Aegis for the team support. They have Rise with the Frozen Heart as well. So it's going to be tough. But ELFS, if they continue to play the way they're playing and just pick off people one at a time, then they can win these fights.
Yeah, they're definitely taking advantage of MKS's aggression. Rise is getting into the front line where he definitely shouldn't be during the initiation, and just getting chunked way down, and then just they're out of position. But hopefully MKS, I mean, their lead is big enough that they can get a straight across team fight. They will do really well. But Aurelia is doing a really great job of getting in the back and doing a lot of damage, and they end up going on a goose chase trying to kill Aurelia, and end up dying in the process.
Yeah, so we'll see how they can turn it around. The big thing is if they just start a fight very aggressively, they'll be able to. MKS will be in control because of their gold lead, because of how strong they are and how tanky they are. But ELFS, they've been able to kite them pretty effectively. And Rise does need to play in the front line, but just can't quite get the snares that he needs to. Can't quite get into the back line on Anivia and Corki.
Yeah, both teams just kind of sitting, waiting for good initiations. Just kind of sitting back. Lee Sin was getting a little aggressive there, and Alistar kind of went off to destroy some wards. But yeah, they're just kind of sitting tight, waiting for a good opportunity to go in. I think Alistar's, he looks like he's going to try to make something happen here. Yeah,
just not quite getting it. Kind of concerned that if he forced that initiation, he's pulling a little bit too far away from his team, so he's going to back off for a second. They do have the Oracles. They can clear out some of these wards. They can force this Baron fight, and it seems that ELFS is falling for it. They are looking in, but they do get the vision. The wall off from Anivia going to burst them down. Frozen Barbecue kind of taunting them a little bit, running into the middle of the team, trying to poke them down a little bit just to prepare themselves for this next fight.
Yeah, just trying to get in Lee Sin, doing some damage, but they're just... MKS is just getting out of there. Meanwhile, getting a little bit crazy there. Lee Sin, you go down really quick. Anivia out of position. Sonal goes down, but Anivia is turning the egg, and she's going to go down quick too. And here comes Aurelia. You're going to go. The GA's popping now. Corki, you got nowhere to run, man. Oh, man. Here comes Jax doing some things in the back. Aurelia goes down pretty quick, but manages to kill Tarek. But, I mean, that's not really who you want to kill. And this is going to be an inhib, and they're going to be doing a lot of damage. They might be able to get a tower. Might be the
very
game.
Close to game. 40 seconds left. It probably is going to be game. And MKS just really with a nice play in that fight, finally using their gold advantage. They were able to bully them around. And there's not a lot of time left. 10 seconds left until Lee Sin's up, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to take this down in time. It does drop very quickly, and yes, that is going to be a game. So MKS moving on. ELFS will drop down into the losers bracket, so we'll be able to check out these two teams. Just finished the inhibitor. Lee Sin jumping in, but they do pick that up. Right as we end, I am going to go back for a second here, though. Alistar jumping into there. They do get the victory. I'll go back real quick and look at that fight, because the fight, it started off with Lee Sin's initiation, and ELFS, they were completely pulled out of position. Like, they're just completely split right now because Corki and Sona, they walked down to this side of the ledge. Yeah. And so as a result, they're way in the back line. Then the flash from Ezreal pulled Lee Sin out of position. And still, Corki and Sona aren't in this fight at all. So it's a 5v2, turns into a 5v3. Then they have, their damage. Like, that's absolutely perfect for MKS. Yeah. They can, just snare people with Rise, just take them down. And so it was really just the easiest fight ever. And it all started with Sona and Corki going the wrong way to start, and then just poor communication. So they started off, they were completely split from their team, and just couldn't catch up for the rest of that fight.
Yep, and that is unfortunate. And that was the initiation that they wanted, and they got it, and they're with the lead, they were able to just absolutely clean up. So yeah, really good from MKS. I mean, I'm a little upset because why do the people with the cool names always get out? I wanted Extra Long Friends to win the whole thing. They had Elves as their name. They had a guy named Frozen Barbecue.
But why does Elves fall, Nick?
Are you getting all philosophical on me?
So that Elves can get back up.
Okay. Wow, you blew me away there. You just really surprising with your words. So
they were words with Extra Long Friends.
They were.
Oh, that's right. We don't have a stat screen. No? So there we go. I was kind of waiting for a second. And I was like, oh, it's not coming up. But yeah, really nice play from both of those teams. Fun, exciting game. Yeah. Phenomenal start from both.
Yeah, it seems like the Hong Kong teams are pretty evenly matched so far. It's not like huge blowouts in this bracket. So, I mean, we'll see as we continue on in the bracket to see who wins. Of course, some of us know
Some
the
of us,
result.
I feel like a lot of people know.
A lot of people know. So
But, yeah, no, we'll be able to, at the very least, if you do know, we'll be able to track the progress of, the winner and see, how they're going to be coming into IPL5, what kind of a team they look like. But regardless, that was it. MKS, they do take the game. Iceland taking the other one. And we will continue the Hong Kong qualifiers throughout the week during our EU broadcast time. So the normal 11 a.m. But thank you, Nick.
yeah, and make sure we have an NA match tonight, a North American match. We have Meat Playground versus Underrated Gaming. I think that's right. I could be completely wrong, but I know Meat Playground is playing, and they're playing against an up-and-coming team. So check out that, and we're going to be doing Hong Kong stuff during the EU broadcast time because EU is all at a frat party right now, apparently. So
yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like a $25,000 frat party.
that sounds awesome.
That's pretty good. But
a nerdy frat party, I guess. But
everyone's balling. They're balling so hard.
2 pop collars, bro. One on the outside and the inside.
Is that like an emotional popped collar?
Yeah, I mean it's metaphorical.
Oh, okay.
You know.
All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. We do have a number of videos going up from IPL Face Off and all of our shows and whatnot. We got to get back to filming because we got to do a push the lane.
Oh yeah, check out our show, guys.
We
We do push the lane. We talk about things. We bro hug.
women mostly.
Not women.
No, all right,
never.
well, that's a shame.
But we'll be talking about some interesting things. So check that out. Probably come out tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So
Eventually.
make sure you guys check that out.
Yeah, so that's it. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We will throw up a rebroadcast and talk to you later.